What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another swatch review for you. Today we're talking about the ILNP Candy Coated collection for spring 2025. We've got 6 brand new nail polishes, but before we get into that, if you haven't heard of ILNP before, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based in the US, and all of their polishes are 10 free, meaning they are free of 10 of the potentially harmful ingredients that can be found in nail polish. They are vegan, meaning they do not use any animal derived ingredients, and they're also cruelty free, meaning they do not test their products on animals. So like I said, we've got 6 new nail polishes, we've got some really bright springy colors, and we actually have a variety of finishes here. So there's a couple of holo jellies, we've got some shimmers, and then we also have a magnetic polish. So let me show you the swatches first, then we can get into my thoughts on them, pricing, availability, all that good stuff. So roll the swatch footage. So as with all of my swatch and review videos, I am using base coat underneath all of my swatches just to protect my natural nail and prevent any stains. Today it's the Orly Bonder base coat. Starting off with the shade Peach Ring, this one is a sheer buildable peachy orange base. It's got a ton of iridescent shimmer in it, so looking at it head on, I mostly see a golden orangey color, and then we also have some teeny tiny hollow flecks running throughout. And this is a type of formula that ILNP has been doing a lot recently, and I truly cannot get enough of it. I think it looks so stunning. I started off with 2 coats. I thought that was really beautiful. If you do like a bit of visible nail line and a slightly sheer look, it works perfectly for that, but just out of curiosity, I wanted to build it up to full coverage, and for me that took 3 coats. So I think it's just one of those colors that it really just depends on the mood you're going for. I feel like 2 coats is perfect for springtime, but then 3 coats feels like more of a transition into summertime. And then we have the shade Sweet Tooth. This one is the pinky jelly shimmer that again has that same buildable formula. So we've got this very cool toned pink base, almost leaning a little bit towards that orchid kind of color. And then again, we have that orange into yellow duochromy iridescent shimmer, as well as a ton of hollow flakies running throughout. And again, it's really beautiful coverage in 2 if you like a slightly more sheer look, but you can also build it up to 3 coats. And I have to say, they have been doing a lot of these sort of pinky tones in this formula, but they are all so different. If you guys are curious to see a comparison of them, just let me know in the comments, because I feel like personally they're all different enough to warrant owning all of them. Next up, we have the shade Gummy Bear. This is actually what I'm wearing on my nails in the intro and outro of this video, and this one's a really beautiful, almost hot pink jelly, and it is totally packed with holographic sparkles. So I love this formula from ILNP. I feel like they mostly do it with more muted or neutral tones, so I loved seeing this one in a really vibrant color. And again, this feels like a really nice transition into summertime for me, just because of how almost neon it is. So started off with 2 coats. I feel like honestly this does look perfect in 2 coats. That's what I'm wearing on my nails right now, but again, I just wanted to see what it looked like in 3 coats. And what I love about ILNP in general is how buildable their formulas are. You can wear them in less coats and they're not patchy, but if you want a bolder, more vibrant look, you can always add another coat on, and it doesn't feel like it's too thick on the nails. It just adds another level of intensity to it. Moving on, we have the shade Sugar Cube, and this is the only one in the collection that I was kind of iffy on, to be honest. It's a super soft sheer lavender, and it's got this really interesting scattered hollow formula, but it actually looks a little bit more linear the more coats you do. It's just these larger pieces of glitter that kind of look a little bit more scattered across the nail. But what I'm not so sure about with this one is that I didn't love the coverage of it. I feel like I could make it work as a topper, and it's not patchy at all, but I feel like 3 coats is still pretty sheer on my nails. So I kind of wish that this was what it looked like in 2 coats and that I could do 1 more coat and make it a 3-coater for more intense opacity. But that being said, I do understand the love for sheer colors like this for the springtime. So I don't know. I'm going to test around with playing with it as a topper. And then we have the shade Rock Candy, which is actually the magnetic polish of the collection. And I was super excited about this one because the color is absolutely breathtaking. We have this really beautiful, intense teal base that is totally packed with hollow sparkle as well as magnetic pigment, and it gave me a really impressive coverage in 2 coats. It actually fully covered up my visible nail line, but the way that I like to magnetize polishes is I'll just apply a few coats normally, get it to full coverage, and then once it's full coverage, I'll apply 1 final thicker coat and then magnetize that. So starting off with the cat eye style, I just hold the magnet over my nail for 30 to 60 seconds, and when I pull pulled away that magnet, it revealed this really beautiful bright stripe, and it kind of deepened the color of that teal around it, and it made the holo pigment even more noticeable. So I thought that was really stunning this way. But you know me, I always have to try it in the velvet style as well. So again, just applying a third coat to magnetize, and then I just hovered the magnet around my nail, and this gave a really beautiful three-dimensional velvety sort of look. I actually can't decide with this one if I like it more in the velvet style or in the cat eye style. Usually I have a very strong preference either way, but this time, I don't know, I really like it both ways. And last but definitely not least, we have the shade Jellybean, which is a super vibrant green jelly base that is totally packed with holographic flakies, and I am just so impressed with how opaque this color is. It almost has that crelly-like feel to it, where it has this very slight milkiness, so it doesn't look super sheer on the nail. You can still see the visible nail line in two coats, but there's so much coverage that the color ends up just looking so vibrant on the nails regardless, which I thought was incredible. So again, this is two coats, went on to apply a third coat, and I was even more impressed. I feel like this is a little bit more of a summery color to me than a spring color, but it does make sense for St. Patrick's Day, and I guess it's also like a green, grassy springtime vibe, but I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this one in the summer. So here are all the shades together, and I have to say, looking at them side by side, it's definitely an interesting color story. I feel like we got a nice variety of formulas here, and I happen to love the formulas that they chose for this. These are some of my favorites that ILNP does, but I do think that there's some really beautiful pairings in here. The two jellies together look absolutely stunning, and I feel like especially side by side, they look like a great summer manicure. All of the more sheer shimmer shades are just perfect for springtime in my opinion, and then of course we have that gorgeous magnetic. So really loved all of the shades. Like I said, the only one I'm a little bit iffy on is Sugar Cube, but looking at it as a three coater next to the others, I feel like I'm liking it a little bit more, so I'm not sure, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But anyway, let's talk about these a little bit more. So yeah, those are the polishes, and overall I think it's a really fun collection. I will admit I'm usually not a huge fan of the ILNP collections where they have multiple different finishes, because I feel like they tend to be a little bit more disjointed, but I do think that these work together really well. I'm sure it's in part because these are my favorite finishes from ILNP, so the holo jellies, the shimmers, and the magnetic is all just my favorite finishes that ILNP does. But I do think that the colors also work really nicely together, and even though they're different finishes, they still pair up well. And I feel like I say this a lot, but I always love to see these brighter kind of spring colors, because I feel like that just reminds me of the flowers and the warmth and all of the exciting stuff that happens this time of year, rather than the more classic, dusty, pastel, Eastery kind of shades. So now let's get into pricing and availability. These polishes are actually coming out this Friday. They come in the usual 12 milliliter bottles, and they do feature what I like to call a medium wide flat brush that has a straight tip. It's a little bit different from their cream finish brush. If you've used those before, they do a rounded tip for that. This one is a little bit different, but it's still pretty easy to use. And the price does vary based on the finish. So the shimmers and the jellies are retailing for $10 USD, and the magnetic retails for $12.50 USD. However, I always like to mention this, during ILNP's pre-sale, they do $1 off per polish. So I always recommend grabbing them during the pre-sale because you always get a little bit better of a deal. So I'm going to link that down in the description. You can check them out if you're interested, but I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think of the collection? What do you think of the mixed finishes? And which one is your favorite? Leave it all in the comments. We can chat about it. If you enjoy my swatch and review videos, please hit that like button. It really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye. Okay. Let's do a really crazy would you rather this time, because I thought this was hilarious and I'm curious to hear everybody's opinions on it. Would you rather get $1 every time you compliment a stranger, or get $100 every time you insult a stranger? This is honestly a very interesting one, because obviously you can really build up the amount so much faster if you insult people. But personally, I would hate to do that because I would feel really terrible and I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night. But then again, you could be making so much more money. So I have no idea how. I wonder if there's like a trick, like a loophole that you could do where you like say it and then be like, I'm just kidding. But still, I don't know, that feels hurtful. My gut instinct is to say, just compliment a stranger, and then I would just, you know, go on the strip and just compliment everyone I see. But I feel like even then, like I I couldn't even make, oh, I mean, I could maybe make $100 a day, but I don't know. Then you have to like talk to so many people, and then all you have to do is just insult one stranger to make $100. I don't know. But maybe some strangers, well, I don't know, because if they're a stranger, then I don't know if they deserve it. I was gonna say some strangers might deserve it. I don't know. This is a conundrum. I don't know if I can answer this one, so I want to hear your opinions. Let me know in the comments. We can chat about it, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.